Hi everyone, my name is Staff Sergeant Phil Broome. I'm the Principal Euphonium of the West Point Band, and I'm sitting in here in the beautiful recording studio we have at West Point to talk to you guys about recording yourself better. Whether you're a tuba player or a euphonium player, whether you're a student who's trying to record for a competition or an audition, or you're trying to put together a CD, I want to give you some techniques that will help you sound a little bit better and a little bit clearer on those recordings. I get a lot of questions about why do I not sound like me on my recordings? Why is it not clear enough? Why can't I hear enough articulation, whatever? So we're going to talk about different techniques to really make you sound like you. So the biggest thing that I want to hit today is the difference between ambient miking and close miking. Ambient miking is obviously we're going to try and record the ambience of whatever hall you're in. We're just trying to capture exactly what the hall sounds like when you're playing. Whereas close miking is exactly how it sounds. We're going to put the microphone a lot closer to the instrument to really try and isolate what your instrument sounds like. And then later on in post-production, we can take those two techniques, because we've recorded them multi-track, hopefully, and we can mix those in together to create a really nice, clear sound that sounds like you and also has a nice ambience of whatever hall that you're in. So obviously there's a lot more to it than just those techniques. There's what microphones do we use, how far do we place them, and this and that. And that's why we have recording engineers, professional recording engineers that have dedicated their lives to really perfect the art and science of recording. But that doesn't mean you can't take advantage of some of these techniques yourself and make your recording sound better. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our concert band rehearsal hall, and we're going to try and put some of these techniques into action. All right, so we're here in the West Point Band concert band rehearsal hall, and I'm joined here by Staff Sergeant Keith Kyle, our newest tuba player, to play a few excerpts so we can kind of show where these mics should be while we're recording. So you can see here I've got one spot mic right here ready to get an isolated recording of Keith. And then we're going to go over and look at our ORTF pair, which is a stereo pair that's going to capture the hall. So as you can see, this hall is pretty small. The ceilings are rather low. It's not a dead hall by any means. It is a very bright hall. So normally in a bigger size recital hall, I would probably do some kind of a spaced pair to get some more ambience in the back of the hall, which is going to be a lot more washed, a more washed sound that I can actually add into to the other microphones. Right here we have a stereo pair in an ORTF configuration, which really kind of emulates the workings of our ears and the space between our ears. So the left microphone is panned all the way hard left, and the right is obviously all the way to the right. And when you add them in together, it creates a nice ambient stereo realistic image. So you can see that these microphones are set up in that configuration. Left one's kind of facing that way, and this one's facing this way to capture the ambient stereo image. So this is our main stereo pair. So you really have to have a nice stereo pair to capture the room. If you have a portable recorder, I know a lot of students use those because it's a very affordable way to record yourself for competitions and auditions. This would be your stereo pair. This would be where you would put your portable recorder. Okay, so now we have our spot microphone that we're going to mix in with our stereo pair. And this is where it gets a little complicated because there's literally thousands of places I could put this microphone. And you can see that I've only got one. A lot of times I'll put up several. That way I can record all of them at once and just kind of pick which one I like the best. But if I've only got one, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and find the sweet spot. A lot of people are going to see the tuba, maybe a recording engineer who's never recorded tuba euphonium. They're going to see that bell and they're going to say, oh, it's like a trombone or it's like a trumpet, and I'm going to put that microphone right at the bell. But if you're a tuba or euphonium player, you know that if you're standing right in front of that bell, there's a whole lot of stuff that's coming out of that bell that's not very desirable, especially for a recording. There's a lot of like finger noise, a lot of mouth noise. It's very harsh and brass. And what I want to try and do is not capture all of that stuff. So what I generally do for euphonium and tuba is I like to put the microphone directly in front of the tuba, a little bit below the bell. All right, so What I'm going to try and capture is a little bit more of that woofiness, but also clarity from the tuba. And so what I'll end up doing is I'll have Keith play a little bit, and I'm going to just kind of move around and try to figure out where that sweet spot is. So go ahead and play, Keith. Cool. Awesome. So what I didn't really want to tell you is that we've actually already placed this mic, because I did this before to make sure that everything sounds good. And what I found is that the sweet spot is really right where the bell is facing this way, all right? Which makes sense that there would be more clarity right there. So if you come over to this area, you're going to get a lot more woofiness. So it really kind of depends on what you're really going for. But for this particular recording, say it's an audition or a competition, I want to capture more clarity. So I generally am going to put it aimed right at the bell, below it, and just kind of try and find where that sweet spot is, and that just happened to be right here. Now obviously for euphonium it's going to be opposite. Euphonium bell is going to be facing that way. And generally speaking, when I'm recording myself, that's about where I'm going to put it. Just a little bit below the bell, kind of aimed at the valves for euphonium. So it's very similar whether it's tuba or euphonium. You can probably notice that tuba, I'm actually a little bit more on this side of that angle, whereas euphonium, I generally put the mic a little bit more in front of me. But because of the way the sweet spot is just kind of aiming this way, I just try to capture that. But the main concept is use your ears. Use your ears, try to figure out where that sweet spot is directly in front of the performer. So that's what I would use for a spot mic. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much to Steve Darling at ITEA for giving me the invitation to make this video. Also thanks to Staff Sergeant Keith Kyle for lending his tuba playing for the presentation. Also, check out my website at philipbroome.com if you have any questions or concerns when you're trying to make your recordings. I also have a lot of resources on this site. If you go to the audio engineering section, there's tons of resources on euphonium recording with examples and diagrams and all kinds of stuff for your perusal. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.